Hey guys, I really don't know how much time I have, but I'm gonna do my best. So basically I was trying to record a video on another video on how I came to meet Santa Muerte, how she's impacted my life, and how we interact, and you know how my daily practice is with her, if you would call it a daily practice. So there's the altar right there. I'm using a forward-facing camera, so I can't zoom in or anything like that. I don't have any kind of tripod or anything like that, so I'm just, I do it like this. So, it was last October that I was doing a meditation. I was actually calling to another spirit, and she appeared. And when I say she appeared, I mean she physically manifested behind me. I was, what would you call it, in that delta state, or that state in which you're meditating and you're conscious enough to know what's going on around you, but then you're also submerged in that meditative state. See, because what I do is when I meditate now, on the rare occasion that I do, I like to write down what I see, because more times than most, whenever I would write something down, it would come to fruition. And it wasn't necessarily things that it would impact my life, it was the lives of other people. You know, people that I didn't know, people, celebrities, or people across the country, or people that are friends of friends, never necessarily was directly impacting me. But anyway, so I used to write stuff down so that I could learn. And so as I was calling this other spirit, the best way I can describe it is I was aware that somebody was behind me. And my brain was not really dreaming, but envisioning this black cloud, black mist, or like a dark gray mist, forming behind me on the couch and rising up and up and up and up and up and up. And next thing I know, I can feel that presence standing behind me. And it's probably about 6 feet tall. And I can feel that it's observing me. I mean, it's literally standing. If I'm here on this couch, it's right here behind me, right? And so, of course, I get startled because I know that there is a physical apparition standing right behind me, or hovering right behind me. So I do my best to try to stay in that state, but also turn around and look behind me. Which is a very difficult thing to sustain, believe me. So I turn around and go like this. And right here in the corner of my shoulder, I can see a black mist about 6 feet high behind me. And so I turn to look a little bit more, and to the best of my ability, all I see is void. All I can see is, there's not even a color, because I can't even say black, because you can't really put a color to void, but all I saw was void. And there was no gender, there was no human characteristics whatsoever, just a feeling of observation. That's it. So I mouthed, I was like, okay. That's what I said. I mouthed it. I said, okay. And I turned around and I wrote it down. I said, dark figure standing, hovering behind me. And I wrote it down on my notepad. And so right after that, of course, I get frightened. So I come to, and I can feel it behind me dissipating like this. So that's what sparked the interest, the research. That's what sparked the need to know. And see, she's very prevalent in my community. I live in a heavily Hispanic community. There are a lot of Catholics. And So it's kind of like that local celebrity that you're aware of, but you never really, look into, So I started doing research and that sort of thing. And when I would do meditations, she would appear in those meditations. In a black robe, she would appear in a purple robe. Never in really any other color. Black and purple, and I think one time orange. And there were certain instances where I would have a dream and it would be interacting with her. Take that to the other room. Every time I'm doing a video, he interrupts. Every time. He wants to have his own YouTube channel, by the way. Anyway, so there was one particular dream where, and of course this was in October, so I'm already planning to do a skeletal Dia de los Muertos type makeup because I'd never done it before, and I wanted to jump on that train and, see how well I could do with it. And I had a dream where I'm putting on the makeup and she comes up to me and she tries to wipe the makeup off, and I swat her skeleton hand away, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she gets upset and she goes, "That's not me. I don't understand why these women try to portray me like some kind of floozy. That's not who I am. That's not how I want to be portrayed. I'm not some sexualized figure. I'm not some, floozy with skeleton makeup on. That's not who I am, and I cannot believe that your generation tries to portray me that way as a sex symbol. That totally missing the point of who I am." So I heeded her feelings, but of course I still dressed the way I was going to dress on Halloween anyway. And there was another dream I had where she and I were casually just walking through the mall talking and shopping. And I think she was wearing she was wearing a black robe, and we were just chit-chatting, like chatty Cathys, like nothing. And it was pretty funny. So the early interactions I had with her were pretty damn comical. After I got over some of my initial fears, I started to ponder about how to become more interactive with her, how to have her become part of my practice, or be a part of the household, which is a very scary thing if you're raised Catholic, because she is the embodiment of death, and we're all raised to fear death, and she's also correlated with the devil. She's correlated with everything that a Catholic fears. So for you to step outside that box and be like, okay, I'm gonna start from scratch, and we'll see what it is that they're really fearful of, and then to find out that, I'm skipping ahead of course, but I'll go back. To find out that she, to me, is more kind of like an aunt, she's that elder, but she still knows how to have fun, but she will also scold you if you need it, kind of thing. Is actually pretty interesting, because it makes you wonder, what were you raised to fear after all? I mean, why was she used as a scare tactic? Or why was she feared for so long? Or why is she correlated with such negativity? She's a natural part of life. Anyway, so, I'm gonna try. This is a long video, but I'm gonna try to make it quick. So everybody says she has different aspects, different colors. White, red, and black are the first primary ones, and then the secondary ones that came later on are all of the secondary colors, So I printed out a picture of I don't know if you can see it right there, of her in white, and I begged her, to get this surgery that I had recently. that I wanted a second child for my son, because he's autistic, and I don't know, how many years I have left. I can't always take care of him, and I need him to have like a sibling that will take care of him, hopefully. And that, I just really wanted that second child, and right now is the perfect time. And that if she would just send me the money, and help me get through the health situation, and help me to basically make it to that goal, that I would get her things. We would have a reciprocatory relationship. You get me things, I get you things, and that's how every relationship works, and I feel no different that it should work that way with her, which she's notorious for. You give me something, I give you something. So, of course, she didn't give that to me right away. So I started with little things, and I said, well, help me to stop smoking. And I told her, I promise this will be my last cigarette. Well, I went to my boyfriend's friend's cabin and started drinking and started smoking, and I got an ungodly stomach ache. Like I literally fell to my knees in pain out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, I was just shaking. My nerves were racked. My nerves were shattered. My whole body was shaking, and it used to do that when I was a little kid, whenever my ulcers would act up. And I was just, what is wrong? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And I realized, as stupid as it sounded, I realized I had just finished smoking like 8 cigarettes because I was drinking. And the moment that I realized that I had just finished smoking, I said, I just broke my promise. And in doing so, I'm getting the shit end of the stick right now. I'm getting punished in a good way, physically. So I said, I am so sorry. I apologize. I realize that I broke my promise. I cannot believe that I forgot. And I shit you not, as soon as I apologized, not maybe 5 minutes later, it felt 100% better. And so then, after that, I stopped smoking, but then a couple of months went by, because she likes cigarettes on her altar. But, and she likes for you to blow smoke at the statue. But a couple of months went by, and I was like, man, those cigarettes, I think they were helping me to lose weight. Even though it sounds stupid in retrospect. But, so I asked her, I was like, please, I know that I broke my promise. I know that it's not good for me to smoke, but just give me the permission to start smoking again for a little bit, and then you and I will agree that I'll stop. So, I did, and I did, so I didn't get any kind of ills or any kind of physical ailments, in which would be considered out of the ordinary or like punishment because I broke a promise. So ends up, no, they didn't help me to lose weight. But there was other things, like help with money, and I would tell her that I would get her a new statue if she helped me with money. And she did, because these jobs would just pop up out of nowhere for my boyfriend. They would be otherwise just, random. They would show up, or checks would just show up in the mail that we wouldn't anticipate. So she was pulling her weight, definitely, and she was coming through on her end of the bargain. Look at that candle fluttering. She likes being talked about. And so, so every time she would give me something, I would give her something back. So slowly but surely, her altar started growing. And that's one thing that people are so confused about, which is why, why does she want so many things? Why do these people have rooms just dedicated to her? And Honestly, I really don't know. Maybe it's just their form of dedication. Maybe the more focal points they have, the more connected they feel, you know? And so I even made when I first started inquiring about her, I made her an outdoor pond, and it's in another video, and I at the time didn't realize it was for her, but it makes sense now that it was. So everything that I've asked for has come to fruition. Now, the thing that people really worry about is punishment. Does she punish people? Does she harm people? Does she kill people? Does she take people's lives? Well, she is death, so she is not going to be discriminatory with the lives that she takes. But no, as far as I'm aware, she will not intentionally take your life if you break a promise. That's just silly. She will not go and take like your child, as a form of payment. She will not take your pets. She will not, nothing like that. If there are people that have arrangements with her, then that's a whole other subject. But her herself, she is not going to make the decision to harm someone, just to harm someone. That's not death's purpose. That's not what death does. Death takes you when it's your time. So that's not how she works. So you can dispel that rumor. And on the other end of the coin, if there are people out there that want to practice with her, revenge, curses, hexes, even death, if they It's hard to say. I've never done it. I have never done it, and I will never do it. But there are people out there that wish those things on other people. And I am assuming that sometimes it works. But it's not her. It's the person doing it. It's the person's intention. It's the person's will. She's the medium. She's the go-between. She's the tool. She's the helper. She is not the one that instigates anything. Let's just put it that way. So, say somebody were to really, really piss you off, and there were no words there was no reason for that person to treat you unfairly. You were completely and totally blindsided by somebody's misdeed. You pray to her, she hears you out. You petition her to help you out, to either shut this person's mouth or to punish this person or to help them to see the error of their ways. Then she will help you. Just think of her as like the internet. She's a tool. You can use that tool. Well, use is kind of the wrong term, but you can utilize her abilities your own way. And that is the reason she is correlated with so many bad things out there, is because she is totally neutral. And she's not going to judge you. She's not going to tell you no. She might tell you, you might want to think if that's what you really want or not. She might tell you, you might want to sleep on that. Or she might tell you, I don't think that's the right thing for you. But straight up no, not that I've ever heard of. So there's a couple of situations in which that happened to me. My hand's getting tired, sorry. I was in a situation in which I was treated unfairly, and I got very upset, and I petitioned her to help the person see what they did wrong. Not to punish anybody, because I'm not a violent person, and I don't wish violence on other people. I really don't. because I believe in justice. I believe in balance. But I just said, help them to see what they're doing wrong. Just like help them to look in the mirror and see what they're doing is not right. Well, she kind of took it and ran with it, and it to this day remains one of those unsolved mysteries. But I already know what the true cause was, and I already know what the true meaning was. And it's just kind of one of those situations where what happened was sad. You know, and it's nothing major, like nobody died or nothing like that. Nobody got hurt or nothing. But something very inconvenient happened, and there's no explanation. No logical explanation. Believe me, logical explanations have been sought after and none have been found. So she kind of works that way, where if you really wanted to, you could find a logical reason, but more than likely you're not gonna. At least not in this point in the game. So, I was discussing this last night. I still have a deep-rooted, embedded fear of the skeleton reaper. I am not going to lie. The image itself does still sort of kind of frighten me. I know, go figure. I'm covered in skulls. I think they're beautiful, skeletons. I think they're beautiful because they represent just humanity in general. Like, see, I have skulls everywhere. Like, there's more skulls right here, and right there. You know, I think they're humanity. You know, I think that they're beautiful, but they still kind of give me that deep-rooted fear of carnage. It's not death that I'm afraid of. It's the pain and carnage that's associated with death. That's why. That's why that image frightens me, because of the pain associated, not because of the death. You know? So I'm working on that. I'm working on... The whole purpose of this is to get over your fears, to become independent, to become empowered, and to become more aware of what your life is and what your life is about. So we pretty much have been working together since last October, and that is yet another lesson that I have to learn. So, unlike most people that just want to use her for materialistic purposes, which, I mean, she is good at, I would like to go on a deeper level and learn, you know, those sort of mystic things about life that you would otherwise have to go, you know, you would have to delve deeper. I'm also very interested in the history and the dynamics behind brujeria, you know, because even though most of it has got a Catholic base, it's still considered very powerful. Maybe just because it's got a huge following, maybe because, you know, the more they feed it, the more it grows. But I think that it's taken, I've been 3 years into paganism, and I think that it's taken me this long just to come right back to my roots, to my home. I just really, really, really don't want to get involved in Catholicism or Christianity because it's not where my heart is. Like calling to saints, I know can be very powerful. But I think if you're going to call to that energy, to that source, why not go to the original source? Like, say, for example, Saint Bridget supposedly was originally Brigid of the Celtic pantheon. If you're going to call to Saint Bridget, why not just call to Brigid within the Celtic pantheon? I don't know. But anyway, regardless, it probably won't happen anyway because she's very jealous. And she doesn't really like for you to work with other saints, other deities, other spirits, and that sort of thing. She's like, Why are you going to ask for help when I got it all covered? You know, she's very jealous, very, very jealous. And I mean, that's okay. That's fine. I understand. I like the idea of monogamy. Um, but it's just something I have to get used to, because before I was the pagan deity floozy. Like, I could go and search and research every single deity I possibly wanted to. Now I'm in a monogamous relationship. So it takes me some getting used to, basically. And, you know, that's okay. We're working on it. We're working on it. So, that's really all I can think of for now. I have recently ordered a an hourglass for her that's it's got skeletal shapes on it with red sands, really pretty. And that is supposed to be my gift to her for something that she did for me, which was crazy, freaking insane. I asked her to show herself to somebody who was otherwise a non-believer, so to speak, and she did. So she came through with her end of the bargain. So I promised her that hourglass. So it's coming in the mail here pretty soon. Don't worry. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. It's coming. So, I don't know. Maybe she wants to show herself in the video. By all means, go ahead. If you wanna show up in the video, go ahead. See if I don't see any kind of figures showing up. Maybe she's camera shy. There are lots of people that do videos about her, and you'll see things in the background. And I'm a logical person, you know, but there are some things, you know, that just you can't explain it. Anyway, all right, well, I guess that's about it for now. If you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond to you. But I want you to know, I've only been doing this for about a year, so I'm no expert. And sometimes if I don't respond quick enough, don't get pissed off at me. I mean, I got a life going on out here. I try to make videos as often as I can. If you lose your way, hey, I have a playlist that's called Santa Muerte English. Go through those videos. Before you message me asking me questions, it might have already been answered. So go through those videos. They show you all kinds of things. I made a huge playlist of all the English Santa Muerte videos. Reputable books would be the just go to Amazon. Go to Amazon and you'll see like the top list of books in which you can read about her. Go to the English ones. Well, Spanish or whatever. There's if you do tarot cards, there's a couple of tarot decks out there of her. There's one that's in Spanish. That's the deck that I have that's really, really good. I mean, when I use that deck, I know that it's going to be brutally honest. And then there's another one that's going to be released in October. It's it's on pre-sale right now. I don't feel comfortable doing a pre-sale thing. I just wait till it's out, you know, because next thing you know, it's going to be back ordered, or there's not going to be enough, or yada yada yada. Just go and Google her in English, and there are quite a few people that are picking up on, or that have been open about their experiences with her. And I mean, just search YouTube, search Google. I mean, don't stop your search with just one person's experiences. Go and do the research yourself. And most importantly, if you really desperately want to talk to her, you shouldn't be afraid to. Go sit down, print out a picture of her, and light a little tea candle and go talk to her. You'll be surprised. Maybe you'll find out something interesting. So don't rely on other people necessarily to do the research for you. You develop that relationship with her, not the other people. So that's about it for now, and we'll see you next time.